I've got purple hair. What do you think? Is it fantastic or is it awful? Okay. Don't answer that if you think it's awful. Just tell me if you think it's fantastic. Anyway, I am recording this because I'm going to do my very first application video letting you guys know how I put on my Jamberry wraps. And everybody's nails are a little bit different, so it's, everybody's going to be just a little bit different from me. But this is my way, and, I've got tips and tricks for you, so let's get started. Okay, so these are a discontinued style called Love Spell, and that's what I'm going to be applying today. I've got my nails prepped. I pushed the cuticle back. I've cleaned everything up. Excuse my little wound here. And I've actually applied a base coat because I have really thin nails. Like they bend really badly. And I'm taking my Jamberry boost pills. I'm trying to work on it, but it's just a quirk of mine. I have particularly thin nails. Another reason I love the wraps because it's almost like wearing a little protector over it, so it keeps them a little stronger. It's almost like having some extra thickness on my nail. So these are all prepped. I have a base coat on, and I'm going to show you how I apply. So I have an alcohol prep pad here, and I'm just going to do this to make sure they're really clean. And before I came over here, I actually washed my hands with dish soap. Like the kind you actually wash your dishes with. Dawn is really good. Anything that's really going to take the oils off around your nail beds, because we want a really good, strong, connection here. So, all right, so now everything is very, very, very clean. And I have my Jamberry mini heater here. How quiet that is. Oh, you can use your hairdryer, but you're not going to be able to do that and have a sleeping baby. That's just me. Anyway, so I know what size wraps I need because I apply them all the time. But you will take the transparent backing and go by and figure out which size is better. For me, smaller, much smaller than my nail is better. And nobody notices that there's some nail showing around my wrap, because it's going to look fantastic. So, yeah, you just go ahead, use the transparent backing to figure out what size. I already know all my sizes, and I have already, this is a full strip. I have already cut it apart a little bit, and here's what I like to do, is go ahead and set up all my nails before I ever get started. So this is going to be my pinky nail. Cut it out, and then I fold it in half. Now some folks will leave it on the plastic backing and peel it up and cut it and leave the other half on the plastic sheet because, they might use the middle piece here for their toenails. That's a good option because this is longer than my pinky nail. So you can do it however you want. This is how I started doing it. So I like to cut them both apart and lay them down where, like, this is my right hand over here, this is my left hand, so I'm gonna and I have it all arranged so I know what order I want to go in. This is just my method. You do whatever you like, but this is my method. So now I'm going to just get started. Like I said, everything's super clean. Wash my hands with Dawn dish soap, used an alcohol prep pad, or you can just use alcohol in a cotton ball. No big deal. I like to use the orange stick to separate it from the backing, and this is just to keep more oil from getting on the wrap. Then I'll place it in front of the heater for just, a couple seconds tops, not very long at all. And then I place it just like that. And then don't press it down. If you don't have it where you want to get it evened up a little bit more, then you can start pressing it. Once you start pressing it, you're a little bit committed. But one of the great things about these wraps is that you can reposition a couple times if you need to. So I press it down just a little bit of heat. I learned this from Patriot Jams. You can actually heat up your rubber tipped cuticle pusher and use that as well. and squeegee it all down. Sorry, I'm not doing it so you can see. There we go. So you just want the air bubbles out. You want to get a really good adhesion. And like you can see, it's very long, so if you wanted to, you could cut this tip off and you could use that on your nails later, on your toenails. So it's probably going to be, unless you have really short nails, some people do, might be able to actually get a full nail out of that, but not me. So there you go, pressure and heat. And this rubber tip squeegee is amazing. And this is what it looks like. And then once it's cooled off, you'll snip this. And like I said, some people can use that for their toes. I'm just putting it back on the transparent backing. And now we've got just a little excess there. Now, the official Jamberry handbook on application is that once they're cooled off, you use a nail file to take off the excess. The only one I can really do that on is my pinky nail because it's the thickest. So oh my, yeah, you can still see good. My light went off. I don't know what happened there. So you take your nail file and you just go straight down. Nothing crazy. You don't want to go back and forth. Just straight down, straight down, straight down, straight down, straight down. And that is going to make the excess come off like a pencil shaving. And you can see that the excess is coming off. Just like that. Now you get a nice smooth edge on your wrap. There you go. And you just want to smooth it down. Again, 90 degrees, no C sign, just straight one-time motions. You're not going up and down and side to side, you're just pulling down. And now I have, oops, took a little bit off here. And now I have a watertight seal. But what I like to do, to just be doubly sure, is use the baggie method. And I didn't come up with this. I don't remember who did. Multiple people have tutorials on YouTube. But what I do is I take the baggie, little sandwich baggie, and I use the entire bag to just kind of put as much pressure as I can across the entire surface of the nail all at once. Pop it in front of the heat again. You can barely see me. And then finger, just use a lot of pressure to hold it down. Just keep that plastic tight. And that just gives me double assurance that I've really got a good seal. Ba-bam! Okay, so that's the official Jamberry way right there, minus the baggie. The baggie is optional. Now this is what I usually do because, like I said, I have very thin nails. So I'll take the orange stick, separate it from the transparent backing, peel it off. Take a couple of seconds here just to put it in front of the heater. Not very long. I don't let it heat up until it curls. Not one of those. If you think you got it on a little bit too short, a little close to the cuticle, peel it up. Do it again. I think that's pretty good. Oh, sorry, off camera. There we go. And then you can peel it out. Here's another thing you can do. If you start to get a bubble in the middle, you can actually heat it up just a tiny little bit and pull. This is another method that I saw a tutorial for on YouTube, and I do not know the name of the vlogger who did it, but it's a great idea because it does help with the bumps. And again, I'm going to take my rubber cuticle pusher, heat that up a little bit in front of my heater, and push all of the air bubbles out. And then here's where I differ. Once I've trimmed off some of the excess, I will take a pair of the larger like toenail clippers and just for my fingers, and I'll go ahead and actually trim some of my nail off. Because I usually need to trim my nails after 2 weeks anyway, and that's how long these last on my nails. So yeah, I just trim off that, and it also is a little quicker for me. I only come back with the nail file to make sure it's smooth. I don't bother with filing forever to get it off because, like I said, my nails are thin. They just bend with the nail file. It takes longer. So I just like to go ahead and trim my whole nail down. There we go. So now you have the traditional method, you have my little method, and either way works. The baggy method, the pull method, all those things to get it nice and smooth. And always remember to go smaller than your actual nail. As you can see, there's some of my nails showing all the way around. Oh, a little bit of cuticle there. And I will finish all of this up with our cuticle oil once I've done all of my nails. So since this is already 13 minutes long, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, finish everything, show you my finished manicure. And there we go. That is all the nails done. You can see there's a little bit of nail space all the way around. But when you go, oh, look at my nails, no one's going to say, well, they're a little small. You're going to be complimented, no problem. So that's the whole manicure. And yeah, that's my application method for thinner nails. And that is it. That is how I do my application, and I hope it's helpful for you, especially for the ladies out there who might have thinner nails like I do. I forgot to tell you about one product that I used today. This is our cuticle remover. It's fabulous. You can find it on my website. You just put a little bit on. It's got this great, whoop, losing my camera. It's got a great brush at the end. You just click here by turning, and cuticle remover comes out. You paint it onto your cuticle, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then you use your cuticle pusher and push it away. It's fantastic, and it gets rid of that invisible cuticle that can sometimes mess up a application. Everything looks perfect, and then all of a sudden it peels off at the cuticle, and you're like, what happened? You might have had some cuticle there you didn't realize you hadn't pushed back, so that could happen. So anyway, I highly recommend the cuticle remover. And it's very stylish. You'll also be able to take it on planes because it's the right number of ounces and such. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I forgot to during the application video. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. If you wanted to subscribe, I certainly would not stop you. And thank you. Thank you very much for watching.